Coming up on KUJH News.
An inside look at the KU Clay Club.
KU's annual Powwow Indigenous Cultures Festival.
And Kansas baseball and softball both enter the top 25 poll. Stay tuned. Welcome to KUJH News. I'm Donovan Bolins.
And I'm Emma Noble.
The conflict in Iran has been going on for over 40 days and has affected many farmers across Kansas. KUJH's Ben Nash is live in studio with a deeper look.
Thanks, Donovan. The war in Iran has disrupted spring planting season, with the cost of fertilizer and other farming necessities drastically rising. The Strait of Hormuz is located on the southern coast of Iran, is responsible for almost 50% of the world's urea exports. The strait has been closed because of the war and is affecting farmers in rural Kansas and across the United States.
What we're dealing with today is a lot of consumers of fertilizer around the world who are now incredibly concerned about where their fertilizer supplies are going to come from without any certainty about when the strait is going to reopen.
The Fertilizer Institute estimates that U.S. farmers will be about 2 million tons short of urea this spring. Urea is the most common fertilizer that gives plants nitrogen. This is a key nutrient for ordering them to grow. With this shortage, farmers are being forced to make a difficult decision. Many crops need lots of nitrogen. Some of these crops include corn, wheat, and potatoes. Without an easy place to source this, farmers are choosing crops that require less nitrogen. For example, root vegetables like carrots create their own nitrogen from the air. Farmers may choose to grow more carrots instead of potatoes because of this shortage. Farmers who aren't able to source any form of fertilizer might even skip a year, forcing themselves to go in the red. Even after the Strait of Hormuz reopens, it is unlikely this fertilizer supply chain will be distributed immediately. Reporting to KUJH News, I'm Ben Nash.
Thanks, Ben. KUJH will be sure to keep you updated as the conflict in Iran continues. Tuition status for undocumented immigrants in Kansas has been settled. KUJH's Eli Greenwald has the details.
Kansas Senate Bill 254 prevents undocumented immigrants from getting in-state tuition for college. The bill was proposed by Senator Mike Thompson, and it passed in the Senate 22 votes to 18.
What are we teaching these young people if they are thinking there are exceptions to the rule of law?
A bill like this has never been brought into law, mainly because of the opinions of the people of Kansas.
I don't think Kansans support this. I think a lot of Kansas think of this as cruel. You know, this is twisting the knife on those students. There's just like making sure that they can't participate with everyone else in the educational process.
Governor Laura Kelly agrees, as she vetoed the bill, saying, quote, "To punish these kids for decisions their parents made years ago is not only cruel, but also not in the best interest of the state."
It's not about the money. It's about punishing. The goal is to get as many of them to leave the country.
Here on Jayhawk Boulevard at Bailey Hall, where the Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies is located, bills like this have affected students and faculty in the center for years.
It creates an atmosphere of fear for those students.
Even though bills like this have failed to become law multiple times, there still seems to be efforts to continue to make it happen.
But I think they'll keep trying. You know, this whole immigration thing is proven to be a useful tool nationally. And so at the national level, they'll keep trying this around the country.
There is no indication whether or not this bill will be reformed and come back on the docket anytime soon after Governor Kelly's veto. For KUJH News, I'm Eli Greenwald.
Despite the veto, there are still efforts to pass a bill in the legislature.
On April 9th, Shay Marney and Amara Ndobisi of the Crimson and Blue Coalition won the KU Student Senate presidential and vice presidential election. The Student Senate Elections Commission posted unofficial results to their election website Thursday evening. Now, Marney and Ndobisi received just over 50% of the total votes compared to their closest competitors, Charlie Stevenson and Ava Garcia, who received 46% of the total vote.
The search for the next dean of KU School of Journalism and Mass Communications has continued, with the third candidate, Corey Armstrong, presenting this past Monday. Armstrong is a journalism professor at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's College of Journalism and Mass Communications, where he has served as Associate Dean for Research and Faculty Affairs. The final candidate, Jennifer Vardmanis, is scheduled to present today at 3:15 in Capitol Federal Hall. The university expects to announce the new dean before the end of the spring semester.
Anthony Alvarez initially sued the University of Kansas and his supervisors, Emily Shell Green, who was the former assistant director of KU Housing, Residence Life, and director of Grace Pearson's Hall. Sarah Waters, executive director of KU Housing and Residence Life, is also named in the lawsuit. Now, KU was just dropped from the lawsuit in July, and Alvarez declined to comment. Waters directed KUJH News to the university's Office of General Counsel, and KUJH has not received a response at this time. But KUJH News also reached out to university spokesperson Aaron Barcom-Peterson for comment and has not heard anything back.
The smell of fry bread took center stage as the 37th KU powwow kicked off this past Saturday. KUJH's Caden Baird went down to the festivities to talk to organizers and its special guests about what makes a powwow such a unique event.
Over 8,500 people attended last year's KU powwow, and despite it being indoors due to high chance of rain, it felt just as packed this occasion. For those outside of the Native community, a powwow is a Native American celebration featuring dancing, singing, and the honoring of traditions and elders in the community.
These are places where people gather and celebrate and talk and laugh and share history and share stories and share traditions.
The main event of the day was the Dance Circle and its adjoining contest, where multiple dances from Jingle to Fancy took place, with top contestants receiving awards. The powwow also featured multiple local vendors that attendees could buy various handmade items from, and of course, fry bread and Navajo tacos were a delightful sight and smell for all those hungrier powwow patrons. A short film was in store as well, as native filmmaker Black Horse Lowe presented one of his recent works and talked about what the powwow means to him.
See other Native brothers and sisters and kind of just enjoy their company and really kind of just be together to celebrate life and dance and art and everything else. So it's always a beautiful experience.
Jan Cita hopes the KU powwow and events like it are a place of learning and community building.
They gain this, I hope, deeper appreciation for the culture, and that will always help us to just dispel stereotypes, to come together as a community and to appreciate all cultures that make Lawrence unique.
For KUJH, Caden Baird.
Thanks, Caden. If you didn't make it to this year's powwow, don't be worried. It's an annual event, and we'll be back around the same time next year.
Donovan, I don't know about you, but this entire past weekend had me a little bit scared with the storms.
Absolutely. Emma, you're not alone. Storm damage was reported across northeast Kansas. And weatherman Aiden Baugh joins us live outside the J School for our first report of the show. Aiden, what a week of storms.
Donovan, we had a round of severe weather roll through off and on this entire week. An EF2 tornado struck the city of Iowa, but none of that today. It's picture perfect outside here in northeastern Kansas. Very little wind, plenty of sunshine to go around. A different story tomorrow, though. We're expecting severe weather later on in the evening. Next, on this weekend, we've got even milder weather in the wake of a cold front passing through. Temperatures going to be in those 50s. I'll warn you, full forecast coming up just a bit.
Thank you, Aiden. Hey, maybe this storm season will finally be the one to cure my fear of lightning. Do you think that's even possible, Donovan?
Well, Emma, anything's possible, but maybe Aiden can help you out with that later on in the show when he returns for a full weather report. When we come back from break, allergies have become rampant throughout the Sunflower State.
The transfer portal is causing super struggles for basketball coaches.
And the Kansas debate team has added another award to their list of achievements. Stay tuned.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back. Weatherman Aiden Baugh alongside us. Thanks for joining us here at the Anchor Desk.
I'm so happy to be here. A little bit new for you guys. Today, it's going to be amazing outside. Don't even worry about it. Plenty of sunshine to go around for everyone. Not very much wind. Tomorrow, going to be a little bit different of a story though. We got a high 82 today. Winds coming out of south about 5 to 10 miles an hour. You couldn't ask for a better spring day. Tomorrow, a little bit different though. Our evening going down through the 80s into the 70s. Winds start picking up a little bit out of our southeast. But look at this. Tomorrow, we've got chances of severe weather starting later on in the evening. I'd expect after that 4 o'clock evening hour, winds start picking up a little bit. So that could put a damper on our severe weather chances. But with this kind of severe weather that's rolling through, you got to expect everything with it. I'm talking tornadoes. There's a slight chance of that. We saw what happens on Monday. Even when we say very little chance of severe weather, that cap could still break and we could get tornadoes as strong as EF2s in some areas. We've got hail. That's our big concern with these storms. Expecting hail around that golf ball size in some isolated events. So make sure you're taking all precautions necessary with these storms. You don't want to be outside messing around at all with any of it. Taking a look at our model. This is our high resolution rapid refresh model. Look at this, folks. We've got that line coming through in the evening, and it kind of just sits here, flooding. Another huge concern with these storms, not expected to move along quick, dropping tons of rain on eastern Kansas. So don't mess around at all. 7-day forecast, folks. We've got that chance on Friday, sunny and beautiful outside the rest of the week. Going into Wednesday as well, slight chance of those showers and thunderstorms. A cold front rolls through on Friday. High of 58 degrees on Saturday, and then we're back up into the 60s, the 70s for the rest of the week. Emma, I wish I had better news for you guys tomorrow, but unfortunately, showers and thunderstorms are expected. We got sunny and 75 weather coming up after it, though.
That's all that matters, honestly. And you know what? If I have to stay inside for one more day this weekend, I'm okay with that, as long as it means sun.
I know. We're going to be prepared for Friday, though. I know the storms are coming in, but just make sure you're down in your basement, on your safe place if tornadoes do come, and I think we should be okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Aiden. Kansas is ranked as one of the worst places to live for people with allergies. Reporter Catherine Vrana shows how KU students have been dealing with seasonal allergies in the Sunflower State.
Kansas has a high rate of pollen from trees, grasses, and weeds. Allergy season causes many people to deal with symptoms such as sneezing, itchy eyes, and skin rashes.
Most symptoms are like stuffy nose, itchy eyes. Sometimes it gets maybe a cough too, but for the most part it's more like seasons change, your nose starts to get stuffy.
Mornings and early afternoons are the worst times to be outside if you have environmental allergies. Worse symptoms can also be experienced after a storm because of how the water breaks up the pollen.
For me, it's pretty year-round. I mean, definitely right now, though, with the pollen out.
Some students cannot attend class due to the severity of their allergies. Watkins Health Center sees a rise in patients in spring due to allergy symptoms. Kansas is especially bad for people with environmental allergies because of high wind speeds and high concentration of pollen production. Unfortunately, there is no perfect cure for allergies, but see a healthcare provider to get the necessary medication and limit time outdoors, especially earlier in the day. From KUJH News, I'm Catherine Verona.
Thanks, Catherine. Donovan, personally, I think I sneeze about 15 times a day. So that's no exaggeration. Allergy season won't fully end until late fall, and it could not come sooner.
Absolutely. K-State researchers are taking a high-tech approach to help farmers save water and boost crop yields. I had the opportunity to speak with researchers earlier this week about how they're making every drop count. Take a look. Out here, it may just look like another Kansas field, but beneath the soil, there's a constant conversation happening. Sensors track moisture, and every drop is measured with a purpose. It's called precision irrigation, a system designed to give crops exactly the water they need, a high-tech response to a very real problem. The Ogallala Aquifer, the water source that fuels much of Kansas agriculture, is slowly declining, and for many farmers, the clock is ticking.
This aquifer is depleting at a very high rate, and it's not being replenished, or the aquifer is not coming back to that level which it was before. So we are losing our water and resources at a very drastic level.
At K-State, researchers are turning that urgency into innovation, combining satellite data and field sensors to take the guesswork out of irrigation.
This project is led by Kansas Water Institute, and my lab is involved in research components in Kansas. So we partner directly with farmers. We try to understand the variability across the field and then use these sensors to capture images and understand that how the plant is stressed at different parts of the field. What it does, we are not applying the same amount of water in the field and trying to only apply or irrigate the crop, however, with the amount of water, however much it's required.
For farmers, this could mean lower costs and stronger crops.
So in long run, if it's like economically feasible and it's ties with those return of investment for the farmer, they would buy it. And we have seen some technologies having a higher footprint from year 1 when I started working on it and year 3.
Researchers say precision irrigation is still evolving, but its impact is already taking root.
The KU Clay Club gathers in Chalmers Hall every Thursday in their community space to make and discuss their art. KUJH's Evelyn V. Hill gives us a behind-the-scenes look at how the club creative ideas come to life.
With the art of ceramics growing, there comes a new age of artists at KU. The KU Clay Club meets Thursday to be able to share their artistic side with each other and do what they love most, ceramics.
Yeah, it's just like a community exchange is a good way to put it. Sometimes like I run into problems that I just have a hard time solving.
The Clay Club is not open to students who aren't majoring in art. Therefore, they are very dedicated to the arts as a form of expression. The Clay Club is also working to expand within the school, but it's not as easy as it seems.
It's a little hard to advertise, but we do tend to advertise, like people get to know us through our sales, and we've been trying to do more sales.
With past sales and one upcoming, the club is looking to get more visibility at KU. And by establishing a connection to the school, they are able to do just that. The purpose of these sales is to be able to raise money to send the club members to NCECAA, a national conference on education for the ceramics art. For many, this is a big opportunity, allowing the artists to present their work, and is a great outreach for members.
It's another communal exchange of ideas, but you can also just network. You can meet a lot of cool people. You can meet, they're like kind of ceramic celebrities where like people living in not the ceramic world would be like, well, I don't know who that guy is.
For KUJH, I'm Evelyn V. Hill.
The Clay Club plans to have a sale before Mother's Day, so look for future postings to support those local artists in raising money. Period.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Give you the latest on Kansas athletics and beyond. Let's get this ball rolling. Breaking news as of this morning, after a stellar freshman season, Bryson Tiller has committed to rival Missouri. Tiller started 31 of 35 games this year and would have been a leading contributor for the Jayhawks next season. After this commitment, Kansas fans have already taken this switch up personally. Speaking of this heated rivalry, we'll dive into that history in just a bit. But sticking with the home team, the Kansas Jayhawks track and field team is competing in the Brian Clay Invitational today in Azusa, California. The Invitational is from Thursday to Saturday. The Jayhawks multi-event athletes were there just a week ago, and they look to build off their promising start. Now, a little bit of some shocking news here. The U.S. men's soccer sporting director Matt Crocker has left the team just a few months before the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Crocker is now joining the Saudi Arabian Football Federation. Talk about an insane switch up. Now, the opposite of switching up, some loyalty, finally. WNBA superstar Asia Wilson has signed a 3-year, $5 million Supermax deal to stay in Las Vegas with the Aces. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that smells like a promotion to me. The 3-time WNBA champion looks to add a 4th in the upcoming years. Now, if you're from Las Vegas, Nevada, or anywhere that isn't Kansas or Missouri, you may be unfamiliar with the Border Showdown. Adeline Ray is here to break it all down as Kansas and Missouri clashed on the softball field last night.
We all know Kansas and Missouri don't get along, and that dates back to the 1800s as a result of the violent conflict known as Bleeding Kansas. And while some sports can remain civil, others, like basketball and baseball, are anything but. Every time Kansas and Missouri face off, it's more than just a game. It's a rivalry rooted in history, and softball is no different.
Here at Arosha Ballpark tonight is the 93rd matchup between these two softball teams, and Missouri actually leads the series 57-35. Now, in a rivalry where records can be thrown out the window, this matchup takes on an extra edge. Now, I want to see what the fans actually have to say about this rivalry.
Oh my, it's like we got to go to the game. It's always good. And of course, we want KU to prevail.
I think a lot of good games, a lot of fierce, intense battles, and heated rivalries. You know, it's been going back to the 1800s and still going to this day, which is really cool.
And while some KU fans are more cordial, others see these games as an opportunity to show just how deep this rivalry goes.
We want to win, win, win. We want to take it from them, steal it from them, just annihilate them.
I think it means pure hatred. There's nothing good that comes from the state of Missouri. It goes back almost 200 years. Like, this is just in my blood.
But no matter which team you cheer for, this matchup continues to bring out emotions and never gets taken lightly. For KUJH News, I'm Adeline Rabel.
Thanks, Addie. And unfortunately, KU fell on the wrong side of the rivalry as they lost 4-2. They look to bounce back this weekend as they take on UCF in Orlando this weekend. Now, on a happier note, after their 11th consecutive victory on Tuesday, Kansas baseball has checked in at number 18 on the NCAA Top 25 rankings for the first time this season. Gabriel Steigers was there to tell us more.
For the first time this season, Kansas baseball has entered the NCAA Top 25 poll. Now, the NCAA recognizes a few publications, but the leading organization, D1 Baseball, has Kansas on the poll at number 18.
We're just not going to change anything. Like, we're not going to take days off. We're probably going to work harder. Like, that number by our name is just going to make us work harder.
As Kansas currently sits at number 1 in the Big 12, in that position at the end of the year, they would receive the number 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament. If they can win that bracket, they'll automatically receive a bid to the NCAA tournament, which they have an outside shot of hosting one of the first-round regionals right here in Lawrence.
I think that mature teams can look at a ranking and have an excitement about it and a confidence about it and a appreciation for how far we've come.
There are 4 phases of postseason play in college baseball: conference tournaments, regionals, super regionals, and the College World Series. The weekly Top 25 poll gives fans a look into what teams are in play to be one of those final 8 teams to make it all the way to Omaha, where the College World Series is hosted every year, something the Jayhawks have only done once in 1993.
I do think that they enjoy competing as much as any group I've been around.
After receiving an at-large bid last year, they lost in the Fayetteville Regional. But this team is hungry for more. For KUJH Sports, I'm Gabriel Steigers.
Kansas baseball will head to Stillwater for a weekend series against Oklahoma State beginning Friday at 6 p.m. before returning home to Hoagland Ballpark next week, where they are undefeated against Big 12 opponents. You know what they say, when one thing ends, another one begins. Well, that's the case for the KU men's basketball team. The NCAA basketball transfer portal opened up on April 7th, and thousands of players have entered, hoping to find a home next season. KUJH's Jack Kennett tells us what is next for the Kansas Jayhawks and other top programs across the country.
Michigan head coach Dusty May had just enough time to celebrate the program's first national title in 37 years before it was time to get back to work.
It's tough to enjoy this because the transfer portal opened last night.
Over 2,000 college basketball players have already entered their names into the transfer portal. This accounts for nearly 1/3 of the sport and a number that is still growing. At Kansas, roster turnover is the story. After yet another early exit, only one Jayhawk who averaged double-digit minutes is expected to return. But experts say Jayhawk fans shouldn't be worried.
Kansas is in a position where you can say, oh, the NIL era has hurt them, but at the same time, they are the flagship Adidas program.
While some players hit the transfer portal in hopes for more playing time, some understand they can get a payday out of it.
Breaking news from college basketball: Kansas transfer Flory Bidunga has committed to Louisville.
The number 1 player in the portal will be playing at Louisville next season. and it won't be for cheap, with reports the NIL market is up 65% from a year ago.
There was a lot of talk about this, could go up to $5 million. The combined deal between the two of them is going to be significant.
Some think NIL and the transfer portal have provided parity.
What it does is allow smaller schools to access to better talent than they would have had otherwise.
But even with higher spending, schools like Kansas and Kentucky have seen minimal postseason success. But that won't stop these schools from shoveling top dollar into their program.
The big schools, Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, they're always going to have significant NIL to work with, and it's about managing the budget.
While some understand the new era, others think it has crossed the line. Reporting for KUJH Sports, I'm Jack Kenna.
The transfer portal closes April 22nd. While athletes won't be able to enter after that date, those already in can still find a new home. Now, I know this isn't the transfer portal, but the sports side of things is closing up too. Stay tuned because just after this break, we've got one last weather update and I hear a potential fashion show. Don't go anywhere.
This is Cecilia. Cecilia goes about her day like everyone else. She gets ready for the day, cleans her dorm, and does her homework. Good job, Cecilia. But even though it doesn't show, Cecilia is not feeling like her best self. She feels like she can't talk to anyone about how she feels, because every college kid is supposed to feel this way. Right? Well, no. Cecilia realizes that she needs to talk to someone, so she goes to the KU Health Center for a Jayhawk check-in. Cecilia feels heard. It's okay to not be okay.
Welcome back.
The KU debate team is ending their season on a high note. Caitlin Shaw and Narja Solman won KU's first ever Cross-Examination Debate Association National Championship. Meanwhile, head coach Brett Bricker was named the National Debate Tournament Coach of the Year. Bricker is the third KU coach to earn this award.
KU celebrated the International Jayhawk Festival yesterday at the Burge Union. Reporter Alex Wood shows us what makes the festival so special.
At the University of Kansas, students are getting a chance to experience cultures from around the world, all in one place. KU hosted its 10th International Jayhawk Festival at the Burge Union, organized by KU Study Abroad and Global Engagement. This event brought together traditions from dozens of countries. From trying new foods to a fashion show, this event gives students a way to connect with cultures they might not otherwise experience. Around 50 groups are involved, each sharing something different. For many students, the festival is both a chance to experience new cultures and traditions up close, while also enjoying the lively atmosphere.
Thank you, Alex. I'm a little jealous of that food, and I'm looking forward to the 11th annual festival next year. Well, that is all we have for you this morning. Make sure to check out KUJH on TikTok and Instagram for exclusive content and keep up to date with the latest stories at KUJHnews.com. I'm Emma Noble.
And I'm Donovan Bolins. KUJH News will be back next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Stay sharp out there.